Welcome everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you for joining me. This is Classic Album Review, and today we're going to take a look at the classic 1989 album by Aerosmith, Pump. This one here, I think it cemented the band as a major force in the late 80s and early 90s. Now, they had already returned to the top with 1987's Permanent Vacation, but the question at the time at least was, could they remain at the top? And I think Pump proved that. It also showed that they could climb to even higher heights. So we're going to go through all of that in just a little bit here, but before we go any further, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And I'm asking you guys to do one more thing here. If you like this video or you know someone who would, please share the video. I'm trying to get the word out, spread the word about my channel. So all that stuff would really help. And as I always say, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this with Classic Album Review and taking a look at the Aerosmith album from 1989, Pump. So diving into this thing here, for a band that formed all the way back in 1970 to have returned to the top in 1987, I think it was just an amazing feat. They had already achieved so much by this point, but Pump was about to take them even higher. It's their 10th studio album, and there's just fantastic production work by Bruce Fairbairn. He does an amazing job on this thing. He really helped pull it all together. Done with Mirrors, in my opinion, didn't really get the band to that level. There really wasn't an identity to that album, but this album, or 1987's Permanent Vacation first, and then this album, which he produces both of those, really brought an identity to on these. And the other thing is that this album noticeably incorporates more keyboards and horns than any other previous album. But there's also plenty of straight ahead rockers on this thing. And the cool thing is the whole band was writing on this album. There's a couple outside writers on a few of the tracks, like Jim Vallance and Desmond Child, two really great writers. Jim Vallance always did a lot with like Bryan Adams, and Desmond Child has worked with everyone like Alice Cooper and Rat and just a whole host of different artists. So, we knew the songs were going to be great simply by that, but the thing that happened with this album is 3 top 10 singles on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, and it's their only album to do that. Love in an Elevator went to number 5. Janie's Got a Gun went to number 4. That one also won their first Grammy Award, so pretty amazing, some firsts that are happening here. And What It Takes went to number 9. And I always found this interesting that What It Takes, being the ballad, didn't go as high as the 2 other singles off this album, just proving what a great band they are. Because if you know anything about the late 80s and early 90s, it was the ballad that was always the highest charting hit. So great rockers that Aerosmith are proved that songs like Love in an Elevator could actually climb higher than a ballad. The album itself was certified 7 times platinum, second only to the great album Toys in the Attic, which is certified 8 times platinum and worthy of that too. Now, for this album here, I always felt that the lyrics and music really aligned, came together on this album here. Sexy lyrics with sultry music, socially conscious lyrics with dramatic music, and romantic lyrics with moving music on it. So the thing is, too, overall, the album has such a high energy to it. Just a really good flow from one song to the next on here. There's also some really cool interludes on here, little instrumental pieces and dialogue pieces and stuff like that I also think help, one, with the flow, but also just to create some really cool sort of peaks and valleys in this album. Now, the first 2 songs on here, Young Lust and Fine, are 2 straightforward rockers and 2 of my personal favorites on here. And I always really liked how the first track, Young Lust, just flows right into the second track, Fine. I just always thought that was a really cool way that they did that. They just build it up there. There was a bit of a drum solo kind of a thing that happened at the end of Young Lust, and it just sets up the track Fine to really kick in, and it's got a great groove to that song. There's also just so many sexual innuendos in the song Fine that every time I hear it to this day, it still kind of makes me chuckle, makes me smile. One of those things that was a perfect thing in the 80s, maybe not so much now, but was, perfect then. But the singles that came off of this album were stellar. Love in an Elevator, Janie's Got a Gun, What It Takes, and The Other Side. All four of those songs fantastic. I mean, sometimes, bands release singles and I think, oh, they really should have released this other one. It would have been so much better, that kind of a thing. But I think those four are fantastic singles to have released. But the deep cuts on this album are equally as good. I think they honestly could have released any single or any song on this album and have had a hit with it. Personally, I always really liked Monkey on My Back, and I also like Voodoo Medicine Man, two other really great tracks that I think easily could have swapped out for the other ones and had been just as successful. And what that to me shows is that I think that the band was firing on all cylinders, and it's just a tribute to how great this album is that they could have done something like that and had 10 really solid standout tunes on this album here. So, final thoughts on Aerosmith's 1989 album Pump. Permanent Vacation returned the band to the top, but Pump was the album that made them kings again, and rightly deserving with all they had gone through, what they had achieved previously, to be able to pull themselves back up and be at the top. Just very, very deserving in my opinion. And it also showed that the return that they had done on Permanent Vacation was no fluke. And so from this point forward, they were going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I think still to this day, they are doing that, and they are doing it handsomely. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you did, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And as I pointed out earlier, if you like this video or you know someone that would like this, please share it. I would greatly appreciate it. Help get the word out and all those sort of things. So, all right, please check back. I'm going to continue to do more classic album reviews, and check back with all the other reviews and series that I do on my channel. All right, take care, everyone. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Bye-bye.